65-54, the visiting Cougars of Columbus State upend the Bobcat women. GC was trailing by 9 at halftime, 32-23, and only trailed by 2 at the end in the second half of play, I should say. Wound up losing by 11. And Young Harris at the top of the Peach Belt Conference. They won again today. They are 11-2 in conference action. North Georgia won. They beat Pembroke, so they're 11-3. Clayton State a winner. They're also 11-3. Columbus State now goes to 10-4 in Peach Belt play. The Bobcat women at 8-6 in the conference. Montevallo at 4-11. Georgia Southwestern lost 2. They're 3-13 in conference action. So that's your standings up to the minute in the West. And of course the Bobcats are being helped out only because Young Harris doesn't qualify for the Peach Belt Conference basketball tournament for the second year now. So right now Georgia College is still on the bubble, and could have been a big win for GC, but they come up short, 65-54. Let's run through the statistics in the first ball game today. 17 points for Shantiona Keys to lead GC, 14 for Larice Walker, then 6 for Brandy McKinney, 7 for Anisha Donnelly, 6 more for Teresa Elskamp, 5 for 2 more for Belinda Skosma, and 2 for Abby Slocum to round out the Bobcats scoring. Mo Smith with us now here at courtside. And Mo, that first 20 minutes caught up to us this time, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did. Thought we were kind of lethargic, not sharp at all in that first half. And Columbus took advantage of it. I thought they did a really good job taking advantage of it and capitalized on the offensive end. We had some easy opportunities, Scott. Had some easy opportunities at the basket, had some open looks throughout the game. And, versus a good team like that, you have to take advantage of those opportunities. We can't ask for anything better. I told him after the game in the locker room, we had great opportunities. Great opportunities. The effort was good. I'm proud of them. They played hard. They were together out there. We made some costly mistakes, some turnovers that really hurt us. Just something we got to learn from, move on, and look forward to our next game.
That last 6 minutes really hurt us with the turnovers and the mistakes. We got outscored, I think, 15-3 down the final 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So those mistakes really came back to bite us too.
Yeah, what Columbus does, they do a good job turning turnovers into baskets. Probably the best that I've seen in the league. You turn it over versus them, it's going to be a layup on the other end.
Yeah, you got the transition game going so quickly.
Yeah.
They can establish it so very, very easily.
Yeah, so turnovers really help them out. They're already tough to defend on misses. And even makes, just the way they get it out on the court, the way they get it out after a basket or a missed basket and push it. But if you turn it over, it's hard to defend those turnovers.
Well, we had a tough time on the boards as well, but it wound up dead even at 51 all. Washington with 19 rebounds. Bradford had 12. And Shantiona Keys had a double-double for Georgia College with her 11 rebounds to go with 17 points. Keys was all over the place again, as always, but she didn't get a whole lot of support. You had your point guard, Walker, the only other player in double figures.
Yeah, and that was another thing where, Scott, I thought that, I thought they were in pretty good positions to score a lot of times around the basket. Open looks, those are shots that we normally hit, which was, it was unfortunate we couldn't knock down those shots because it would have been a different ball game, but, credit to Columbus, tip our head off to them. They made the plays, and we didn't down the stretch.
Yep, they definitely made it. And now you're looking at, with the Young Harris not being able to participate in the Peach Belt Conference, it looks like we're back on the inside of the Peach Belt, but still got a ways to go, and we got to maintain that.
Yeah, we do. We got some tough opponents coming up. I told them, you really got to love this opportunity that we have. If you're a competitor and a player, which, I feel like we have, we got 3 games in the next, 6 days. The beautiful thing about this is we get a chance to play Monday. We have a great chance to play Monday, to rebound back from it, quickly erase this one out of our memories and see if we can, maintain our position or even create, you know, a bigger spread in the Peach Belt, because you know, it doesn't get any easier.
Thanks, Mo. Appreciate you coming by.
Hey, thanks, Scott.
Mo Smith, the head coach of the Bobcat women. Unfortunately, they see their 2-game winning streak come to an end as they fall 65-54 here at Centennial on homecoming. Wrapping up the statistics in the women's contest for Columbus State, they had 4 players in double figures, led by Tay Smith with 17 points, 13 for Asia Alexander, 11 for Shatil Bradford, and 10 for Kerry Washington. Both Bradford and Washington wound up in double-double land. Washington with those 19 rebounds, Bradford with 12 rebounds, as they had 18 offensive and 33 defensive rebounds. The Bobcats wound up with 14 offensive and 37 defensive rebounds. Keys with 11. Next best was Donnelly and Elskamp, tied with 8 rebounds apiece. Georgia College, a much better shooting percentage, but not much better. 34% in the second half for 12 out of 35. Columbus State bettered their first half percentage by just a couple of points at 36%. They're 12 of 33 in the second half. Cougars only hit 1 of 7 3-point shots in the second half and were 4 of 16 for the ball game. They wound up shooting 35% overall for the contest at 24 out of 68. Georgia College shot 21 of 67 for 31.3% for the entire contest. Bobcats managed to hit 4 of 11 3-point shots in the second half, 4 of 18 for the whole ball game for just 22%. Stayed in the contest at the free throw line again, 3 out of 4 at the line. Didn't really have a whole lot of opportunities at the line in the second half. They were 8 of 11 for the ball game for nearly 73%. Columbus's free throw shooting just 8 of 17 in the second half. For the ball game, 13 out of 25 for 52% for the last place team in the Peach Belt Conference at the free throw line. But it didn't matter. They had built up enough shooting wise and playing their transition D to shut down the Bobcats on the day. 9 assists for Columbus, led by Kim Blake with 3. 16 assists for Georgia College, led by Teresa Elskamp with 4, and 3 apiece for 3 other Bobcat women, Walker, Keys, and Upchurch. 19 turnovers for Georgia College, the vast majority of them coming in the last 7 minutes of the ball game. Columbus State had 15 turnovers. Bobcats had 6 blocks, led by Abby Slocum with 3, and Abby now with 104 blocks in her career at Georgia College. Anisha Donnelly had a pair, and Brandy McKinney had a block as well. Just 2 blocks for Columbus State. Alexander had 1, so did Washington. 15 steals for Columbus State. Tay Smith led them in that category with 6. Bobcats had only 9 steals, 3 apiece for Larice Walker and Brandy McKinney. So the Bobcats struggled in the first 20 minutes of action. Shot only 28%. Did not hit a single 3-point shot in the first 20 minutes. Wound up trailing by 9 at the break, 32-23, but they went on a big run, but couldn't hold off the Cougars. They led 51-49 with 6:58 to play. And the Cougars would go on a 15-3 run to end the contest and win it going away 65-54. So the Bobcat women fall in the first ball game of homecoming for 2014 here at the Centennial Center. And the Bobcat men will try to come up with another big win over Columbus State. They knocked off Georgia Southwestern a week ago today here at Centennial, the #1 team in the Peach Belt Conference West Division in the men's play. And Georgia College will take on the Cougars, trying to get some revenge against Columbus State here this afternoon. For the victorious Cougars, they had 3 players in double figures, led by Kenny Funderburk with 20 points. Shane Hayward and D'Angelo Kirkland both finished with 17 points in the game. And their scoring really dropped off after that. Both teams actually saw their scoring drop off after the double figure scoring. RJ Sessions with 7 second half points. 3 points for Jonathan Manning, 3 for Ty Harris, and 2 for BJ Battle. And that's all the rest of the scoring for Columbus State. Bobcats were led by Terrell Harris with 21 points, the 9th time he's had 20 or more points in a ball game this season. Royal Thomas finished in double figures with 13 points. That's the 18th time he's had double figures on the year. And then 9 points for Aaron Robinson, 8 for Lorenz Thomas before he fouled out, 6 apiece for Alex Reed and Ryan Blumenthal, and 2 points for Kelvin Nwanzi, as the Bobcats drop a 69-65 decision. The shooting stats, Columbus really rebounded in the second half. They shot nearly 52%, 16 out of 31, 3 of 9 from three-point land, and 8 of 11 at the free throw line. For the ball game, the Cougars were 43.5%, 27 out of 62. They hit 4 of 14 free throws for 28.5%. And were 11 of 19 at the line for nearly 58%. Bobcats cooled off in the second half from 48.5% down to 32%, just 8 of 25. And that first 5-minute stretch was just hard to believe, as they could only score 2 points on free throws. Bobcats were 2 of 6 in the second half in 3-ball shooting, 9 of 12 at the line. For the ball game, just 41.4% from the field for the Bobcats at 24 out of 58. They were 7 of 18 from the from three-point land, for 39, and they canned 10 of 14 free throws at 71%. Columbus State edged the Bobcats on the board work at 40-33. They had 16 offensive and 24 defensive rebounds, led by Hayward with 10, so he had a double-double. 11 and 22 offense to defense rebounds for the Bobcats. 15 boards for Lorenz Thomas to pace GC. The next best, Royal Thomas and Terrell Harris, had 5. 13 assists for Columbus State. They really spread that out, led by Ty Harris with 3. And there were 5 other players with 2 assists apiece. Georgia College wound up with 12 assists for the ball game, led by Ryan Blumenthal with 4. Each team with 9 turnovers, 4 blocks for Columbus State, 2 of them by Hayward, and 1 apiece for Battle and for Turner. Georgia College had 2 blocks, 1 each for Thomas and for Blumenthal. 4 steals for GC, a pair by Terrell Harris, 5 steals for Columbus State, 2 each for Hayward and Funderburk. Well, Coach Sellers has joined us here at courtside. Coach, that first half was tremendous. Had a great first 20 minutes of action. Had them right where we wanted them, but unfortunately, the start of the second half was what did us in, it looked like.
Absolutely. I tell you, they came out, and we talked about coming out and setting the tone for the second half. And I said, one team's going to set the tone, and they did. We got a good stop on the first possession, but then we got in a little bit of a rush and had a turnover and a basket. They scored a basket, and we just didn't get the. They made a good run and got right there close to us, but then we responded and we got ahead. And the game 4 or 5 minutes, we had a 4-point lead somewhere in that stretch. Just didn't shoot the ball well enough to pull out what would have been a really good win for us.
Well, yeah, the shooting, I think, is what really did us in. Shot extremely well in the first half. The second half, we dropped off by 16 percentage points. Were we just not getting the good looks in the second half?
Well, I look back and we got a lot of good looks in the second half, but we didn't make. But we didn't make them. And I mean, I don't want to take anything away from their defense. I'm sure they picked up the intensity and they made it tougher for us. But they just outplayed us in the second half, and their inside guys really hurt us down low.
Yeah, the length and the size and the height really bothered the Bobcats, and Lorenz in foul trouble, everybody in foul trouble, it looked like for a while, especially our rebounders.
Yeah, and Lorenz 15 boards. I mean, it's hard to ask him to do more than that. But we took pretty good care of the ball. Just didn't get enough stops, and we didn't shoot the ball well in the second half. So it pretty much sums it up.
That really makes the final 5 ball games even tougher, doesn't it?
It sure does. It sure does. We've kind of this game was really a big game for both teams, and that would have put us even in the win column, I think, or just one game. So we got to go to Clayton State on Monday, a quick turnaround, and try to put 40 minutes together.
Okay, Coach, thanks for coming by.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Terry Sellers, the head coach of the Bobcat men. So the Bobcats fall by a count of 69-65. The Bobcat women dropped their contest 65-54. So it wasn't much fun at homecoming here so far, but we'll be having that fun coming up here in just a little bit as Mr. and Miss Georgia College will be announced. A lot of more homecoming festivities coming up later on for the day. Our thanks to Nick Burgess for helping us out with the broadcast. Thanks to Michael on the Ustream. Thanks to the producer. Thanks to Asia Macklin back at the studio for her help with the broadcast today as well. I'm Scott McLeod. We'll be with you on Monday. Remember, that's a makeup day for the Bobcats and Bobcat women. That'll be a 5:20 air time on Country 102 from Morrow as we take on Clayton State. Your final again in the men's contest. Columbus State 69, Georgia College 65. Thanks for joining us for Georgia College basketball on Country 102.